They've got two guns in the midfield as long as Pritis comes back and has done all the things. Pritis and Kerr, can you afford to tag both of them, or...?
You can tag 8 if you want. The Swannies used to tag 8. So, yeah, we'll certainly... Ryan Crowley always goes to one, but he's not a defensive tagger. He works off as well. He's kicked a number of goals. So I think the total lockdown, there's been a lot of hyperbole in the media about people getting howled and not howled and all those things. And if you're a gun mid now, it's never been a better time. There's 3 umpires and the protection for the ball winner has never been greater. And, you know, so it's never been easier to be an AFL mid, do you know what I mean? So, and both teams employ sort of go with and work off players. So that happens every week. And I think, you know, the obvious ones, and you're right, as the talent gets more spread, it gets harder. But yeah, they're 2 on the radar, but you might go in and say, let's just really attack the game and not tag anyone.
How do you feel about Ryan Crowley as a footballer as a fan?
I've been impressed with Ryan in what he's achieved in his footy career through some pretty dark days early on for him. He had to fight through being off the list and finding back via rookie, and it's credit to him. And you know, it was well documented that, well, if it was accurate, that Ross challenged him in terms of what he could bring to the team, and he accepted the challenge. He's delivering for Fremantle. So I respect all players that I see go out and make something of themselves, especially if they're not the natural or the greatest talent going around. That a lot of players have to work their butts off to survive in this game, and he's certainly done that.
Ross, what have you made of the Eagles this season?
What have I made of them? I haven't had to really worry about them till this week. So I went and watched on the weekend the Saints West Coast game, and look, they're a formidable opponent, but you know, so early, it's formative, and everyone's trying to make their way, and you know, I think they find themselves in a good spot. But we don't get caught up in the bigger picture. It's 1 week at a time. Next training session, assess injuries, who's available, form, what's individual, and so yeah, they're a formidable opponent. I'm on record. There's no easy AFL games. When we go and play Gold Coast on the Gold Coast, it's one of the biggest challenges we had, and you know, so that's just the way it is.
Ross, how do you better capitalise on the dominance of Sandilands?
Get our hands on the ball at ground level would be a good start. So that'll be the aim.
Have you put in place things to improve that area? Obviously?
Yeah, they're in place every week. Yeah, so we train it. And look, when you have a really poor performance like that, and you know, we were on difference sitting in the top 4. So you have a -25 and brings it to the attention. But the trend's been, we've been really quite solid in there. So I hear all the noise about it, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, the ruckman, if it's falling in an area, I'm happy. So if it falls in an area, anyone gets to compete. You know, Aaron's done his job, and then at ground level, we hold them to account to compete fiercely. And as a rule, we've been doing that, but we let ourselves down. But it's a real opportunity to improve that this week.
What about Lockie Neal? He ran train away from the main group.
Yeah, just young players. He was super last week. I thought he led from the front with his attack on the ball. And, you know, we are a list that needs to build and identify more talent. And, you know, our midfield needs to build. And, you know, he's one that we just think has come on really quickly. So we just really need to manage his time. It's going to be a long, hard year for Lockie. And he loves playing and training hard. So sometimes you've got to save the kids from themselves and freshen them up. But he's got a really mature build. He's had our most hard ball gets, and you know, I'm just thrilled with the way he led last week.
Ross, history says, or people outside think, that Fremantle approached the West Coast games as their grand final over the years. Have you seen a change in attitude from the players this week?
Well, I'm not au fait with that sort of principle, so I just thought it was round, what is it? We're going into? Round 9 this week with 4 points at stake. So grand finals played at the MCG and about 100,000 turn up. So certainly there's been no hint of that approach or philosophy to me, and it's certainly not one I espouse and would be thrilled with. So we play a grand final every week. There's 22 grand finals to get through. Yeah, so that would be our preparation, and it would be an indictment of myself as a coach, if that was the way we went about it, if we're preparing for this one more than we did last week or the week before. So I have a really simple philosophy, and I know Peter Sumich does and Mark Stone, and I know Matthew Pavlich and all our leaders do. So I haven't heard that, you know, is that an urban myth? I hope it is, you know.
Ross, you were pretty scathing of your players last week. I think you even used embarrassing. How do you think they'll respond?
No, it wasn't particularly the players. I spoke about a collective performance at times. And certainly I was a part of that, and I'm really strong on that post game. I don't win and they lose. We're in it together, and clearly at some point our preparation, whether it was myself or the players, wasn't of a level to prepare us for an AFL game. So yeah, at times we were embarrassed with our effort at times, you know. So it's an effort-based game. It just highlights how difficult or how ruthless it is if you drop away, and we're a team that has to work really hard for every moment, and if you don't, and I think the North Melbourne Port Adelaide game, 5 goals up, 10 minutes to go, I think it highlights the competition. If you drop your effort for a 10-minute patch, you go down, let alone if you let it slip for 30. So that's going to be our focus, trying to, you know, aiming to give great effort every moment to give ourselves our best chance.